First video about equipment here. Like I said, we will be doing a video series based off of this equipment and getting a product to market for you guys properly, and showing you along the way, being as transparent as possible of how it's actually done. First off, let's talk about the drum mixer. So you are going to start with your raw materials and you will calculate them, as I will show you later, to create the batch size that is expected. With a drum mixer like this is a 100-liter industrial size drum mixer. This has agitators in the middle with paddles that rotate in the opposite direction that the drum is spinning. So it will spin one way, the paddles on the inside spin the other way. What this allows is us to overcome some of the engineering problems if we were just to shake the powder. So some of these problems that we face relate to overall particle size. So every supplement that you're using, botanical, mineral, vitamin, whatever it is, the individual molecule or particle size, the density of that particle, so its weight, affects the way that it is handled within this drum mixer. As this mixture is flowing back and forth, there's other challenges that we have to fight, such as gravity. Something that's called the Froude number, which is the ratio of these particles fighting against gravity. So at a certain point, these particles become suspended in the air or break the threshold of gravity, holding it to the sides or the bottom of the drum mixer, allowing these particles to move freely throughout the mixture. Every particle, like I mentioned, has a different particle size. So the overall mixing speed, agitation, and overall mixing time are influenced by the particle size. When we get to this stage, it is not as simple as turning on a Vitamix 3 or 4 times, I've seen somebody do it, and saying that, hey, now this product is blended. Because some of these products, and we all know them well, whether they're gray area or just their caffeine, different stimulants that we have, the dosing is so small in micrograms. And if we are not distributing these small doses properly throughout this mix, you get what's called a hotspot. The point where if the ingredient is supposed to be at 100 micrograms or 100 milligrams, and now you have the full 1 gram or 10 grams that maybe you put into this end up in the same container, now this person may have an adverse effect. And anytime you have an adverse effect, the customer is impacted. We have to be careful to mix multiple ingredients in the future, especially if this video series goes. Let's talk about some of the basics of this machine. All of the raw materials go into the top here. Has a nice seal. Tighten it down. Then we'll flip this switch. If this were plugged in, you would be able to rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on whatever the mixing instructions that we've created or that were already there. Okay, once that's complete, at the bottom here, you have your valve that opens and will dump down into whatever container. Once we are mixing, we have to confirm that the mixture is done properly. Okay, you guys know me. Third-party lab testing is very important to me. So when we get into this point, we have to think about how we are going to verify that we do have a homogeneous mix. So there's a few ways that you can sample from this batch, right? We could open the top and you could put what's called a thief down in there. And so this is a probe that goes down, takes a little bit of a scoop. Generally, you would try to put the thief as close to the middle as possible. But also, if you're really trying to do this properly, you would have one that would be long enough to take 3 samples, one from the top, one from the middle, and one from the bottom, all simultaneously. Keep those samples separated and then we could put them into processing to understand what trace ingredient that we're going to be using as our benchmark to ensure that the mix is done properly. Okay. The other way to do this is as you're opening the valve at the bottom, when you have the continuous flow of what will be the actual product coming out the bottom, because on the inside here you have ramps basically that come down to your discharge nozzle. This also could create a stirring effect and some cascading of the product. So if we're using the thief type probe, what mixture we test may not be the end result coming out of this machine. So you would also do a top, middle, bottom, or a first, middle, last if we're talking out of the discharge nozzle. This way we can look across the mixture if we are maintaining the proper mixture. Go to the website if you want to support this, pick up some supplements. Thank you guys. Once again, James from Impel Nutrition.